It's Monday, September 10th. Petrol and diesel prices in the country are on fire. Prices touched another high on Sunday. The daily pricing notification by oil marketing companies put petrol at Rs 87.89 a litre and diesel at 77.09 a litre. Mumbai now pays the most among the four metros. In Delhi, the price of petrol is at a record 80.50 a litre and diesel at 72.61 a litre. In Chennai, the price of petrol is 83.66 per litre and diesel at 76.75 per litre. In Kolkata, petrol is being sold at 83.39 rupees per litre, while the diesel price has gone up to 75.46 rupees per litre. Why is this happening and what is the outlook going ahead? First, the depreciation of the rupee to the dollar. The rupee has hit a low of 72.12 against the dollar. Given that India imports over 80% of oil, India is the third largest importer of oil. A falling rupee makes imports costlier, which in turn reflects on retail fuel prices. Second, there has been an increase in global crude oil prices because of a drop in exports from Iran. India is the second largest buyer of crude from Iran after China. US sanctions on Iran that kick in November will force India to look for other sources of crude at possibly a higher cost. There has also been a decline in inventories. Third, and this is crucial, petroleum remains a key revenue source for the government. The taxes on petrol and diesel account for nearly 50% of the cost. Consider this, one of India's biggest oil retailers, Indian Oil, sells petrol to dealers at 39.22 rupees per litre. When VAT and excise is added, you the consumer ends up paying over 80 rupees per litre. Maharashtra levies the highest VAT on petrol and diesel in Mumbai, Thane and Navi Mumbai, which explains why retail fuel prices in Mumbai are the highest. Take a look at this state-wise list of VAT levied on petrol and diesel. It tells the story. Given that petrol and diesel don't come under the ambit of GST, state governments are under no compulsion to lower VAT rates on fuel. What is the government's response? The government has ruled out cutting excise duty to provide relief to consumers, primarily because it will overshoot the current account deficit target if duties are cut. As per the Financial Express, of the 8 lakh crore of excise, service tax and GST collected last year by the union government, around 36% was from the petroleum sector. Blaming external factors, Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan said, OPEC countries had assured the world that they would produce 1 million metric tons per day of crude oil from the 1st of July. The target has not been complied with as per the statistics for July and August. These factors are not in India's hands. Meanwhile, the opposition has called for nationwide protests and a Bharat Bandh today. The abrupt, even unceremonious removal of SP Vaid as Director General of Police, Jammu and Kashmir has been criticized in several quarters. The Times of India quoted an inspector as saying, "It is a pity that the man who with his sincere efforts was able to put the whole nation behind the J&K police in the last 2 years has been removed unceremoniously. This has demoralized the Jammu and Kashmir police hugely." National Conference leader Omar Abdullah said, "There was no hurry to replace SP Vaid. He should have been changed only when a permanent arrangement had been worked out. Jammu and Kashmir police has enough problems without having to deal with the confusion of leadership." So what led to Vaid's removal as top cop? Vaid's transfer comes days after close relatives of at least 10 police personnel were abducted by militants. They were later released. The abductions were allegedly in retaliation to the police detaining family members of 3 Hizbul Mujahideen militants. The central security establishment was reportedly not in favor of this. While the swap deal may have been the tipping point, it is Vaid's no-nonsense handling of the rape and murder of an 8-year-old girl in Kathua, a case that saw local BJP leaders from Jammu come out on the streets in support of the accused, that may have cost Vaid his job. While an appointment to the top job has been made temporarily, among the names doing the rounds to succeed Vaid is that of SM Sahai, who ironically was shunted out by the Mehbooba Mufti government in the wake of the killing of Hizbul Mujahideen militant Burhan Wani. The situation in the valley ahead of local body elections scheduled for later this year is tense, a situation aggravated by the challenge to Article 35A in the Supreme Court. 35A is at the heart of the special status the Constitution accords to Jammu and Kashmir. The National Conference has already said it will not participate in the polls unless and until the Government of India and the state government clears its position and takes effective steps to protect Article 35A in and outside the court. The PDP has also indicated the same. Mehbooba Mufti has said the centre's decision to seek deferment of the Supreme Court's hearing on Article 35A till after the Panchayat elections smacks of conspiracy. In a move that will effectively end India's monopoly on trade routes used by Nepal, China has given Nepal access to 4 of its ports. Nepal, a landlocked country wedged between India and China, depends heavily on India for essential goods including fuel and the use of its ports for trade with other countries. Kathmandu had sought access to Chinese ports to reduce dependence on India after a border blockade in 2015-16 left the country short of fuel and medicines. Nepal and China are also reportedly in talks to build a railway link into Nepal, construct an electric transmission line, and are conducting a feasibility study for a free trade agreement. India's long-held dominant outside power status in Nepal has been challenged by China by way of increased aid and investment. China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative aims to connect China to the rest of Asia and beyond. India has steadfastly refused to be part of it. As one of the projects, the Pakistan-China Economic Corridor runs through Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. China has pledged $57 billion to Pakistan as part of the Belt and Road Initiative. Bowing to pressure from Islamists, Pakistan's newly formed Tehreek-e-Insaf government removed renowned economist Atif R. Mia from the country's Economic Advisory Council. Mia belongs to Pakistan's long-persecuted Ahmadiyya minority, a fact to which radical Islamists took exception. Groups like the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan and even opposition parties led by the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz submitted a notice in the Senate against the appointment of Mia. Mia's removal has earned Prime Minister Imran Khan a major backlash and the retaliatory resignations of 2 other economists from the 18-member council. It was the same story in 2014 when Imran Khan promised to make Mia his finance minister when elected but backed out once he found out about his faith. The Ahmadiyya Muslim movement that emerged from the Sunni tradition considered heretics since they believe Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, a subordinate prophet or messiah of the Muslim people. The Ahmadiyyas were officially declared non-Muslims in 1974 by former Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto in the Second Amendment to the Pakistan Constitution. Mob attacks, targeted killings, desecration of Ahmadiyya mosques are as common as signage forbidding Ahmadiyyas from entering Islamic spaces in Pakistan. However, the backtracking of Khan's PTI that rose through its narrative Naya Pakistan, which would be home to all minorities, tells the story of a party with little new. Naomi Osaka became the first Japanese to win a Grand Slam singles title on Saturday as her idol Serena Williams angrily imploded, calling the chair umpire in the US Open final a thief. 20-year-old Osaka triumphed 6-2, 6-4 in the match marred by Williams' second set outburst, the American enraged by umpire Carlos Ramos's warning for receiving coaching from her box. When a second code violation for racket abuse was handed out to her, along with a point penalty, Williams exploded. She tearfully accused him of being a thief and demanded an apology from the official. The umpire then handed her a game penalty for a third violation, verbal abuse that put Osaka 1 game from victory at 5-3 in the second set. Many other tennis players came to Serena's defense, talking about the double standards in tennis. Here's a look at how Twitter reacted. Andy Roddick for one saying, "Worst refereeing I've ever seen, the worst." Victoria Azarenka saying, "If it was a men's match, this wouldn't happen like this. It just wouldn't." The legendary Billie Jean King tweeting, "When a woman is emotional, she's hysterical and penalized for it. When a man does the same, he's outspoken and there are no repercussions." Thank you, Serena Williams, for calling out these double standards. More voices are needed to do the same. Others too pointed to the hypocrisy of the umpire to penalize Serena Williams in a spot that celebrated the antics of John McEnroe, a blatant display of sexism. Another tweet said Andre Agassi yells at an umpire and screams, "Son of at the US Open." Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka deserved an umpire who knows better than to take points and games away in a slam final.
Ladies and gentlemen and fans, if you would, a hand for the two competitors who played in this finals match tonight.